Good morning. This first chapter Friday is Ungifted by Gordon Corman. Unearthed, Donovan Curtis, IQ 112. I want a refund from Ancestry.com. They traced my family all the way back to the Revolution and all those forefathers and foremothers, aunts, uncles, and cousins. There was nobody like me. No big mouth hung for treason, no class clown who they stuck in the stocks and threw vegetables at. The closest match was this guy in the Civil War who jumped off a battlement, whatever that is, and he only did it because the Union Army was firing on Fort Sumter. That's what they put on his tombstone anyway. It sounds a pretty good excuse to me. I did things like that. If there were battlements in my neighborhood, I'd probably jump off all of them. And not because any army. I'd do it just to see what would happen. Reckless, my mother would call me. Poor impulse control. That's what the school psychologist said. You're going to break your idiot neck one day, or someone's going to break it for you. My dad. He was probably right. They were all right. But when the thing is right there in front of you, and you kick it, grab it, shout it, jump on it, paint it, launch it, or light it on fire, it's like I'm a puppet on a string, powerless to resist. I don't think. I do. It can be the little things like throwing darts at a pool float to test my sister's swimming skills or spitting back at the llamas at the zoo. It can be more creative. A helium balloon, a fishhook, Uncle Mark's toupee. It can even be the smart alecky comment that got me voted most likely to wind up in jail in my middle school, the last 2 years running. Our fans are great. Our team is nifty. We're going to get blown out by 50. See? That's probably not the wisest thing to say on the day of the big game against our basketball archrivals, Salem Junior High. But I didn't just say it. I broadcast it over the PA system in the entire school. I don't know why I did it. The cheer was already fully formed in my mind. The poster advertising the big game had planted it there. It was definitely going to come out. Why share it when only the two Daniels who were with me in the office awaiting sentence for the spitball war? When there was perfectly good microphone a few feet away, unattended and live. Okay, it wasn't live. I had to flick the switch. I even had pom-poms, a crumpled piece of paper for sound effect. The howl of protest that went up all around the building surprised me. It was like I'd gone from house to house poisoning everybody's dog. It was probably for my own good that I wound up in detention. If I'd been free in the halls at 30, I would have been punched. The sense of humor at Hardcastle Middle School didn't extend to the precious basketball team. "Why did you say you were going to lose, man?" asked Wheeling Kaiser, starting center, peering down at the top of my head from his 6'4" advantage. "Why? There's no logical explanation for that. It had to come from my DNA. That's why I needed Ancestry.com. It was the only kid in detention that afternoon. All the crimes had been forgiven in order to pad the audience for the big game against Salem, which had to have already started. All crimes except mine dissing the basketball team. Even the Daniels, 2/3 of the spitball war, had been cut loose while I was doing time. The Daniels weren't at the game. I knew this because they were sulking in the bushes outside of the detention room, making grotesque faces at me through the window. If they could make me laugh, it was easy to hold back. I'd be in even more trouble, as it was Mr. Fender who was checking his watch every 30 seconds. He wanted to be at the game, not babysitting me. Finally, he could bear it no longer. "I'll be right back," he told me sternly. The instant he was gone, the window flung open from outside. "Come on," Daniel hissed. "Let's get out of here." "He's coming back," I protested. "No, he's not," scoffed the other Daniel Nosbum. "He's going to the office to watch the feed from the security camera in the gym. You've only got 10 more minutes. If he's any kind of basketball fan, you're golden." I was out of the window like a shot, breathing sweet, fresh air. See what I'm saying? The open road called, and I took it. This time I needed a little help. That's where the Daniels came in. They helped me a lot. They helped me to the office with our spitball fight, and helped me to the PA mic by daring me to do it. With friends like them, sometimes I wondered why I would even need enemies. I turned on them. "Thanks for letting me take the fall alone. Your support was really touching." Nosbum shrugged innocently. "I couldn't take credit for your poem. It wasn't a poem, it just happened to rhyme. I've been meaning to talk to you about that, Sanderson put in. Don't you think it's kind of dorky? I mean, who rhymes anymore? Nobody, I conceded, except the entire hip-hop community. I bounced a pine cone off his head, which only made him grin wider. We were at the top of the hill, looking down at the gym we shared with Hardcastle High. The parking lot was jam-packed, roaring cheer spilled out from the building. Man, you couldn't fit a Hot Wheels in there, Nosbum exclaimed, taking in the crowded lot. Salem versus Hardcastle is the place to be. Let's go check out the score, said Sanderson. We can see if our nifty team will lose by 50. Yeah, Donovan, nice school spirit, Nosbum added, like he had any. We started down Daniels, jostling each other, absently. A kind of friendly belligerence came naturally to those two. Maybe they were descended from the Hatfields and the McCoys. I'll bet Daniels had never checked it out on Ancestry.com. And then the moment was upon me. I must have passed the statue of Alas 1,000 times, going back and forth on campus of Hardcastle Public Schools. Yet somehow it was like I'd never seen it before. It was not Titan's broad, powerful shoulders supporting the bronze globe of the world in the heavens and seemed so different. But since when did Atlas have such a big butt? Seriously, I knew he was a Titan, but I didn't know that he had the most titanic thing about him was his caboose. He looked like a reject from The Biggest Loser. Suddenly, I was striding down the statue in an almost trance-like state. I picked up a fallen tree branch and made my approach. Nosbum noticed my zombie-like concentration. Dude, what are you doing? I didn't answer, and he didn't really expect me to. He knew me. They both did. I cocked back the branch and I unloaded a home run swing. The impact vibrated through my arms to my brainstem and every cell of my body. The branch shattered in my hands. I have to say this was almost the best part of it for a guy like me. The split second the tomato hits the car, the very brief flight as I drop from the edge of the roof to the pool, the instant that the balloon lifts the toupee and the sun's ray glint off the shiny bald head, or in this case, the going sound from the statue's bronze behind. The payoff was usually downhill from there, sometimes literally. Alas, Atlas shivered as the vibration traveled through his metal body. The celestial sphere shivered too, rocking dizzily on his muscular shoulders. At that point, I noticed for the first time that the sculpture wasn't a single piece of metal, but two bolted together at the nape of Titan's neck. Corrosion is a terrible thing. It was all in slow motion, but there was nothing you could do to stop it. With a crack, the bolt snapped, pieces whizzing out of the sight. The ball of the world and the heavens toppled and hit the ground with a whoomp. It was still wrapped up in the deed, lost in the moment. It took the twins' gasps from the Daniels to break the trance, and by that time the heavy ball was already rolling. Oh no. The big bronze globes careened down the hill towards the gym, picking up speed as it went. I ran after, although I thought I could do to stop it. I have no idea. Help me, I called to the Daniels, but they were heading the opposite direction. They liked to watch me do stuff. They had a lot less interest in hanging around for the consequences. Heart-sinking, I projected the course of the runaway globe. The prognosis was not good. It was hurtling straight for the parking lot where there were a lot of innocent cars waiting to get bashed in. Desperately, I threw myself headfirst at the juggernaut. When my shoulder struck the heavy metal, it felt like running into a brick wall. If it changed direction at all, it was about a millionth of an inch. Flat on my face now, all you could do was watch. The globe screamed down towards all of that expensive machinery, bounced off an upturned curbstone, and carromed towards the building. The cars were safe, but the world and the heavens were now on collision course with the basketball game. It pulverized the glass doors, sending up a blizzard of shards that obstructed the entrance. I heard a very sharp whistle blast like the referee was calling a foul on Atlas, or possibly me. There was another relative on Ancestry.com. He wasn't very much like me. I doubt I would have remembered him at all, except for his name, James Donovan. I wonder if I was named after him, although my mother claimed she'd never heard of the guy. He immigrated from Ireland in 1912, which would have been fine, except the ship he was picked up on, I think, Atlas, here, the Titanic. At decision markers, he and I were pretty much on the same level. But get this, he didn't die. He was plucked from the freezing waters, alive. James Donovan was a survivor. If I'd inherited any of those skills, I had a sinking feeling that they were about to come in handy. That is the end of our first chapter Friday. I hope you guys did enjoy the trouble that he got into. However, there's more trouble to come, so if you'd like to pick up Ungifted in your local library, read it this summer or pick it up in the school year and let me know what you think about it.